we have a lot of new people with Red All Access. What I want to do, even though I'm going public with this, is kind of go a little bit back and forth to the morning note and give you a little thoughts on why I do certain things and what certain things mean. So take a look at the disclosure, and then we'll get to to the actual tape. So if you look over there or right here, my name is Scott Rudd, the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. I just want to tweet out the link just so if anybody wants to watch us live, it's 12 o'clock. They could be maybe they're in the gym, because I do say go to the gym every day if you can. What's it called? Help burn off the morning. I've been up since friggin' 4:45 today. Hey guys, could you send me a link? Hello, Michael, Catherine. All right, this is real time, guys. This is, I don't play a trader on TV. I actually trade for a living, and I also um, give you content for a living and try and come up with ideas for a living and try and do everything for a living. And sometimes I feel tired. I'm a little tired today. And I can't find the link. I'm waiting for the link, guys. Let's see one more time. So take a look at this chart of the S&P while I wait for the link. Okay, this is what's been happening. This is the picture. This isn't the headlines. This isn't the banter. This isn't the coronavirus. This isn't the State of the Union. This isn't Tesla. This is the S&P. Okay, and basically the S&P on this day held above the 50-day, and really it was yesterday that took back the 8 and 21 day and kind of pushed the bears back and said, hey, you can't just be short. You got to look for longs and look for shorts. So the link is up. So let me do this right now. Live midday call. So this way, at least some people could get on now so they could watch it instead of having to watch it later, as it's real time now. But these charts that I use right here are the ones that I use sometimes too, besides MarketSmith, so you can see. So basically, a lot of guys, how could how could you have still been in positions? I thought you reduced from a portfolio approach to a tactical approach. Yes, that means going back from a certain number of positions down to a smaller number of positions, and then once the market gives us discovery, putting some back on based on what's happening. So this day was when the market said, hey, we're having some volatility. This was the day that this ascending channel broke. So this mattered then. That helped me navigate, okay, this area of the chart, okay, and it went below. So that was important then. These charts build and these charts change. This is what I do to navigate on a daily basis. So right here, this was my reduced risk. And if you did, you really didn't have as much pain that following Monday, if you remember. And then we filled the gap. And then remember, this was Friday, okay? I was pretty light on Friday, okay? So all of a sudden, being light on Friday is fine. I was only in things that I was committed to, okay? And then all of a sudden this day, we didn't break below. Some things acted well. I added a few more names. And then yesterday, gapped above, held it, was strong, added a few more names. Now here we are, a pebble throw away from 337. So, that's how you navigate. If we would have, on this day, stayed below this, went sideways and broke this, I would have had, the amount of positions I had there, and probably would have made more money on my SPY hedge and my VIX calls. I wound up losing me money here, but net, I did just fine. Kind of looks very similar to what happened here when it came back up, went sideways, and then took off again. So it would be great if it can go sideways in here for a little bit before taking out the prior high. So this way it lets the moving averages catch up, etc. One more thing on the indices, the Qs gave me, a lot of clues. Today, obviously, the tech is weaker, but look what happened here. And this took out the prior high. So that gave you some clues not to be all in short coming in today, considering Huawei technology be at all-time highs here, if it's all of a sudden now weak of a tape. So anyway, that's the Qs, and that's that's the indices. So what I'm going to show you is my note from the morning, actually the tester as I put it on, and just go through a few things just to show you my language. Most of you are Red All Access, so you've seen this before. You've seen me post it from time to time for free. So here's my note. So basically, Scott Redler morning note. Okay. So what I do is I start, with what's happening around. We have mostly green arrows around the world. Seems like they found a treatment for this. So a little bit of a quick and dirty on the headlines. Then I look at overseas. So obviously the DAX had a day 2 up. So did most of Europe. So that's why we started strong. Then I go into the futures, etc., etc. And then I go into the names, the go-to list. Let's go with that. So Apple low was 302 Monday. Then it did a red dog reversal and reclaimed 308. So this morning, okay, I was like, if you're long, which I wasn't long Apple, I would say trim some. Okay, there might be a cute short versus a 5, 15, 30-minute high, meaning stock came from 302 back up to 322 plus. So for me, I was like, you know what, this could be a good short in the first 5-15 minutes. So I started cost averaging into some shorts above 323.50, which was another level, for a trade, for a cute trade versus strong stock. So basically, you go to here, and you go to just say Apple, and this was the zone. It went a little bit above 322.50. I didn't start shorting until 323, and it went as high as 324.76. So if you look here, and then I say it on the chart, so you get that chart. You don't get it on the public, you get it in the private. And then, so today you go to the first, day, and you'll see that here it opened up. So this was your cost average, okay, which is what I did. Let's get rid of these for now. And I talk about a 5-15 minute high, because usually it's a reactionary high. So, I was a little tricky, or I would not say tricky, but I was a little, what's the word? Risky by just having offers out, because I know I can handle it. I didn't have to be perfect. I got short 4 different price levels, and then it came in, I covered some, and then I let it actually work, and I made decent amount. So this was your, reactionary high. This was put in, in the first minute. This was in 2 minutes, so so I was actually pretty risky by doing that. And then once it put in a triangle here, okay, then it was calculated. Then if you didn't do it versus, you said, okay, I'm going to short versus high. Now there's more price discovery. This is now 40 minutes, and then it broke lower. So that right there was your day trade. You could have done it, using the force like I did, or you could have waited for this to happen for it to then break down or break lower to fill the gap. So that was Apple, and that was my quick thought here. So let's skip to Microsoft, because Microsoft, I wasn't in either. Microsoft, very impressive as it cleared 173 to make all-time highs yesterday, 186.4. It's up again today. It's very extended. I might look for a cute, short for a 5, 15, 30-minute high. Or sell calls, meaning go naked calls. If it happened to stay strong and I got squeezed, maybe I would sell the whatever it was, the 190, which one, the 190 calls, or maybe even the 200 calls. But instead, it was a good day trade. I actually shorted it 925, and that's where the VTF actually sees me short it. So if you want to be up on the VTF and see things live, Red All Access, I give you my plan, but I always don't give you exactly where I execute in the first few minutes, because I only have 7 screens, and I'm talking on the radio, and I'm executing my orders, and I'm managing so many other positions. It's just, that's not what it is. It's the VTF. If you want Red All Access and you want to, get this note every morning, this is what you do. You go here, t3live.com/RAA. That's t3live.com/, and you could get my note. So anyway, let's go back here. So basically, that was the thought process for Microsoft. So let's go look at the chart of Microsoft. Let's go back to the actual 1 year. So you go to Microsoft, look at the size of this move. So here I post a chart of Microsoft, which didn't have this day in here yet, because it didn't exist yet. So this was, post earnings. This was the day to get long. Okay, took out the post earnings high. Then yesterday was strength, and then it was gapping up today another $3. I'm like, you can't buy this now. So extended from the 8-day. So here again, that was what I said from the note, which was right over here. I also put it on the chart so you could see it this way, and then you could also see the chart. And I post a chart. I tell you every day. I post a chart, 14 to 20 of them. So today, it opened up, and there was a great trade there short. Okay, so if you look at the 1 day, you'll see here, it put it in fast. So I actually shorted pre-market like 9.15, because I'm like, okay, I could short 183s and then 180, and then I put offers out at 184, 185, 186, which is not, it's a little risky to do if you haven't been trading for a while. But for me, I could trade around it, considering the size of the move that it had. So I was anticipating it. So meanwhile, you could have anticipated, okay, which is what I did, or you could have waited for the reactionary high and then waited for a little consolidation, and then at least had your defined risk. You could have been shorting in here around 183 versus the reactionary high of 184.20. You didn't need to be perfect, and then it went running down. So I shorted in here, and then I tweeted that I covered some, and then I covered some, and done. So that was a cash flow trade. That is what I call a cute trade against a strong stocks trend, because it's extended. You can make cute trades for cash flow as professional traders, which is what I do. I tend to make more money with the trend, buying dips and staying with it and using the 8-day. But sometimes when things are extended and things need some time, I could use the cute counter trend tactic. But sometimes if you do it a day too early, you could get squeezed through the roof, kind of like what people did with Tesla 2 days ago. So let's go to Tesla real quick. Tesla, you go back here. Okay, Tesla is always on my, this was a lot of staying, wow, there's a fine line between making a lot and losing a lot. I said that because, when you have a trade like Tesla happening, I feel like everyone's on edge. I'm in a bad mood also. I made a lot of money in Tesla in the past 3-4 months, and I made good money yesterday shorting those 12, 13, and $1,400 calls. But with the way this thing moves, you're always like, I could have made so much more. Lots of different ways. So anyway, I don't sell naked calls often, especially, I just don't do it unless there's a special situation. Yesterday, to me, felt like a special situation, and I didn't go in the money and try and be all, piggy. I shorted the 1200s, the 1300s, and the 1400s when it was at 900, so I had a lot of room if I needed to buy the stock to deliver it for my naked short calls. Instead, I wound up making, a lot of premium because at the end of the day, they sucked out the premium, and I made great money. And then yet to this morning, I covered each one for less than $1. So again, you can't do that if you're a beginner. I could do it because I know Tesla. I watch like the back of my hand, and I've been doing this for 20 plus years. And obviously more money was made on the long side, which is what I did do. So anyway, this was the language of Tesla. Okay, so you go to Tesla, and yesterday, you had your, this was the trend, and the trend's been fantastic. This is when, I started with my whole big, I wasn't, by the way, in this whole mess, I wasn't focusing on Tesla at all. I didn't focus on Tesla until after you had this pro earnings gap. And then here again after the Cybertruck, when it took back the 8-day. And then it held the 8-day here, held the 8-day here, held the 8-day here. And then, I don't understand how a lot of people lost money on this day. I'm sorry. This day you should not have been short. You just shouldn't have been. Why? Because this day, which was Friday of last week, today is Wednesday, the stock closed at an all-time high when the Dow was down 650 points. What part of that tells you to be short? That tells me it's strong and it has more in it. So again, like I said, everyone's a little on edge. I was on edge because I sold it up 20 points. I was just happy to make another 20 points because all weekend long, everybody was busting my chops. Said Tesla closed their plant. It's going to be down 100 points. And what am I doing being a chaser? I'm like, I wasn't chasing here. 8-day was right there. It just took out the post-earnings high. I don't care that it's Tesla. It's the right thing to do. So on this day, a lot of people got short. I think I got caught. They got stopped out here, or they waited till this day to get stopped out. Anyway, so into the last part of the ramp is where I sold the 1200s, 1300s, and 1400s for anywhere from $6 up till 20, and then I covered on that little close where it came in the last 5 minutes of the day. Isn't that cute? For like, for half, I took half the premium, and then today under $1. So now what? So now this gap is filled. This is gone. This was a short for some as it pushed below into the gap. Now what do you know? This is the low of the day. This is 747. It filled this gap. First time I tried to bounce off it, this is not as necessary anymore. So now you have, what is this? 747. I still have some leftover calls I sold, but I really have no position or exposure to Tesla, to Tesla right now. But now, if it could get down to the 8-day, which should move up, what I might do is I might go out 2 weeks just for fun and buy the thousands that everybody was buying on this day if it gets down to 700. And then I know that's 300 points, but if for some reason they get added to the S&P, which they probably will, I would think, in my humble opinion, or announce some kind of split or some kind of something that all the buying wasn't just shorts covering, was a little bit of Buffett or something, it would be good money. And I might go in the money, and I might just trade it. Remember I was doing the video here, into this 492 when I was buying it, and I was so scared because it's just everyone, whatever. Anyway, this is what you know. Okay, nice. This was turned into a doji, broke below, filled the gap, and now we'll see what happens tomorrow. If it opens here and trades below it, then maybe we get it. If it opens here, maybe you buy it for it to reclaim it, and that's my language. Last I'm going to do is Amazon, because Amazon's been a focus of mine. Yesterday I was adding. Why was I adding? Because, it opened at 2030 and it was trading. I was figuring it was going to trade through 2055. It didn't close the best, but I had a lot. So in my morning note, what do I say? Okay, what do I say? I try and be as transparent as possible. Amazon was a big focus of mine. My option strategies did great on earnings because I had the 1910s, the 2000s. I had call spreads. I had a lot of spreads. Made a lot of money. It was good, but I had to take it all off because it expired on earnings day. So I switched to a 2100, 2140 option spread. So it's just right there. I'm also long the stock, and I added yesterday. What was yesterday? That was Tuesday when it was 2030, 2050. I trim some above 2070. People are like, Red Dog, why are you trimming some? I'm like, because I use a tier system. It's not all or nothing. I want to book money so I could buy some back and feel comfortable that just in case I'm wrong and it didn't hold 2000 and goes lower today, which I hopefully don't think it does. I sold some in 2070 so I could buy some back like I did today around 2040, to trade around it. So you could trade around positions. And but I will stay with some. So by selling some strength or selling when it goes red, you're adjusting so you could buy a dip and then let it work its way out through price discovery. So, this is Amazon now. Not the end of the world, but I did sell some at 270, 2074 even. Where it get as high, that was pre-market. 2071 is as high as it went. So now that's a new point of reference. It's right up here. Okay, so far it hit a low of 2032, which was pretty much the average of yesterday. It's not the end of the world. Would I have liked it to hold and be up 50 today? Yes, it just didn't happen. What I like is different than what the market likes. It's not always going to be the same. It's still just fine letting the 8-day catch up, and maybe Jeff is still selling some shares, and that's why it's not moving with power. Here's the overall big chart that I loved. I wrote the same thing on the chart, which I guess some of you guys saw. And now we'll see. If you sell 2070, you could buy some below 2040. That's why I use a tier system. I held some versus 2000, so I was able to buy more 2030 for a move up to 2070. And then I'll just still sit with the options. So all in all, I just showed you 4 different stocks, 4 different ways I've played it today. I'm in 15. At this point, it's 12:15. I got to go to the gym. If you're new to Red All Access, get familiar with it, learn my language. I have lots of different tactics, lots of different ways to do it. If you're not in it, you could go right here and click on it and try it for a month. T3live.com/RAA. Let's go back. If you, again, did it because a lot of people just joined, we had a great, what's it called? Promo, I guess you call it, where you had Path to Profits, which is a 2-hour video with a presentation for me that gives you a lot of the tactics that I use so you could use Red All Access effectively. Just again, it doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes I throw fish in the boat and it's great and you could eat. Sometimes you have to know why I fish and how I fish, because if I'm not playing it and I don't have the wherewithal in the first few seconds, like today, shorting verse and tell you that I'm short and you need to see that I'm short, then it's the virtual trading floor for you. Either which way, it's not, they're not throwing money out, it's not growing on trees. You have to be prepared. You have to be planned. You have to have a routine and a process. And I try and show you mine so you could develop yours. Again, show you mine. That's why I tweet at 4:45 every day. You guys, oh, Ruther, you're up early again. I'm like, yes, this is what I do every day. Oh my God, it is out early. Yes, this is what I do every day. Oh wow, your video is here again. This is what I do Monday through Thursday. So that's my routine and my process. And now I go to the gym, blow off some steam, put my stops in. I come back at 2 o'clock, trade the close, do my recap, and then I go to Chase's basketball practice. Hopefully you're doing well, and I'd love to see you a part of the community. Bye-bye.